Hello, everybody. Doug Pinter on the Pinter and Patrick Show. Patrick's back in town from Punta Cana on his honeymoon. However, I took the opportunity today to visit with my good friend Laura Blackaby. She is the executive director over at the Family House of Peoria, right off of Nebraska in Prospect. Had a visit with Laura, and she shared some stories about some of the families that utilize the facilities there. And we had a great conversation, raising great money out here today at Coyote Creek, just outside of Bartonville, and benefiting the Front Nine Foundation, who supports the Family House of Peoria, the Children's Hospital of Illinois, and Tee It Up for the Troops. So make sure you get to the show, check out those stories, check out their website as well as the Front Nine Foundation. Have a great weekend, everybody. Be safe. We have our good friend Laura Blackaby with the Family House of Peoria. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Doug. I'm well. Beautiful day.
I tell you what, we're out here at Coyote Creek in Bartonville, Illinois, getting ready. We're having the Front Nine Foundation golf outing. It's our 11th annual outing, and part of the beneficiaries, one of them is the Family House of Peoria. So I appreciate you coming out, taking time out of your busy day. We're going to be here all day, Laura.
Yeah, yes, we are, and it's a beautiful day, and we certainly appreciate all of the support that the Front Nine Foundation gives to Family House.
Of course. Today's show, we want to talk a little bit with Laura about the Family House and what the Family House does here in Peoria. If you haven't been over to see the location, you have to stop by and take a tour of the facility and see what it's all about. It's just wonderful. I'll say the first time I drove down the drive, I don't know what I was expecting, but when I pulled in your parking lot, it just totally blew all of my expectations out of the water, which was then surpassed when I walked in and met all of your lovely staff, including you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Laura, tell us a little bit about your role and how long you've been at the Family House.
Sure. Well, I have been the executive director for Family House for just over a year. And I always enjoy hearing comments like yours, because many people tell us when we pull onto the property and we pull into your drive, it is totally unexpected. We're set back on a cul-de-sac. The land that we are on was donated by Dr. Dale Geis and his wife Pam. And it is just a beautiful piece of property, very serene, very peaceful, very comforting. And so when you experience that along with a very home-like environment, it really brings a lot of peace and comfort to our guests.
I know the couple times, well, I've been over to your facility quite a bit. Out back, you have some decks off some rooms, and you just, I kind of got lost a couple times when I was out there. You don't hear the hustle and bustle of Peoria and the madness of life that's going on, because the folks that are coming to the Family House, they have a lot going on, a lot of stresses outside of just day-to-day living. Can you talk a little bit to the people out there listening, tuned in on Facebook this morning, YouTube, about who the Family House helps and services?
Sure. Well, Family House provides affordable home-like accommodations for families of patients and individuals who are receiving health care services in the Peoria area. We're a little bit unique in that those individuals who we serve come from outside of the Peoria area. Last year, we provided well over 6,000 nights of stays to families from 28 states and 4 countries. So not only are we reaching families here, but we're also reaching across international borders as well.
Unbelievable. My good friend Laura Blackaby with the Family House of Peoria. I'm Doug Pinter on Daily Energy here this morning, talking with Laura a little bit about the Family House. So you have people all over the world coming here. If people are not familiar with where your location is, what is your address over there?
So we are located at 1339 East Nebraska Avenue. We have been in that house 6 years this month. Prior to that, we were located in a house up at the corner of 74 in Knoxville. So while we've been in our current location for 6 years, we've actually been serving for families since 1985.
That's wonderful. The Family House of Peoria, what is your website, Laura?
It is Family House Peoria.
You know what?
.org. I just lost it. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Hey, we don't have enough coffee up here on the table. Let me grab this.
I think that might help. Yes,
just help yourself if you need it.
FamilyHousePeoria.org.
Okay, I'm going to ask you that a couple times today. I got it as well. I tell you what, the couple times I've been over, it's awesome. I see people doing cookouts for families. The families that I've met, Laura, and become good friends with, a couple of the families, the Front Nine Foundation supports some of those families directly, financially, to help offset some of their bills. They're wonderful people. They're extremely grateful. And the thing that I hear about the family house is they, one family we both know of, their young ones in the hospital, just trying to survive. And I can't imagine the stress of that every single day, whether your child's going to live to see tomorrow or not. And we were talking about life before coming on air, about how life doesn't have a pause button. You still have a business to run. You have family members counting on you. If you're taking care of your parents, what happens with them? And you, in the family house, offer consistency to so many people's lives to where they know they have a place to go to after a challenging day of meeting with doctors and just trying to coach their loved ones along on hanging on and fighting, to come home to a warm meal, a friendly face, a hello, a genuine conversation of how was your day, instead of just passing by saying, hi, how are you? It's wonderful what you guys do. And the rooms that you offer are private rooms with beds and TVs and closets, and it's a home. It's an actual home within a home.
It truly is. And when you pull onto our property, it looks like a very large house.
It does.
And that's exactly what it is. It's a very large house with 20 rooms. We have a full kitchen that is absolutely beautiful. We have 3 lounges. We have outside seating areas, as you said. We have Wi-Fi, and so we try to bring as many of the comforts as home to our home as well. And what's really very lovely to see is that while all of our families come to us with different situations, they all have something in common, and that's that they're in the midst of some type of a medical or healthcare crisis in their family. And that builds an automatic sense of camaraderie. And so when we have volunteers who come in and prepare meals for our families, and our families gather in the dining rooms and they gather around the tables, they're doing more than just enjoying a meal. They're supporting one another. And because some of our families are with us long term, they really form some beautiful bonds. I remember one situation directly. We had a lovely lady who was staying with us from Ottawa, and her husband had been transferred to OSF St. Francis Medical Center. And he moved the stage in his care to where he moved into rehab. And it was at that point she needed to go home because she had to get some things ready for him at their home for him to be able to come home and get settled back into their life together. And she was so nervous about leaving. She had been at the house, she had been at the hospital every day, and she said, I don't know what I'm going to do, not being able to see him every day. Who's going to check into him? And one of our other guests, also a lady who had a husband at OSF St. Francis Medical Center, reached her hand out. They were sitting at the same table, and she said, don't worry. She said, we're going to be here, and we'll check in on him every day for you. So he has company, and he knows that somebody is here for him as well.
That's
so
pretty moving.
Just a small example of how our families truly do form a bond and do what they can to carry each other through the difficulties that they're experiencing.
And you know, when you talk about relatability, I think probably all of us, anyone out there watching, we've all had something in our life with a definite uphill battle, more than just a scratch or a cut. You know, it's a life-changing event. And when you can find others in the community that share that same experience, and you can find that common ground, and so much positive comes out of it. You know, when I was talking with my good friend Jeff, who's one of the families the Front Nine Foundation supported 3 years ago about coming up for the golf outing. He goes, Doug, I never thought you were going to call. My wife has got me doing chores. I mean, come on. I said, come on up here Friday. And you know what Jeff's most excited about? Besides playing golf, is actually, he asked, he goes, do I get to sit with the families from the family house? And that just, you know, I paused for a second. I'm like, that just speaks, he wants to share his message and how they were able to get their child home or get through their difficult situation and share that with some of the other families. The family we're supporting today, their little daughter, Hannah, wow, she's got a really steep hill to climb, but it can be done. And it can be done with prayer and support from the community and families that have walked in their shoes to help shine some light on what they're about to experience. I think fear derives from unknown situations and presumptions. And when someone can add clarity, it really just helps maybe take some of that intimidation or fear out of the picture. It's got to be so rewarding. What's, you know, I hate to put you on the spot, but what's one of the most rewarding things from working at the family house in the 14 months you've been there that you've seen? I mean, your story you said was pretty touching.
I think that I think one of the most rewarding things that I get to experience every day is the absolute resilience of the human spirit. Like you said earlier, life, you don't hit the pause button on life when a medical crisis happens. And when our families come to us, they're coming to us because something unexpected has happened. They're coming to us because little boys like Aiden, an 8-year-old who stayed with us not long ago, was in the house the night before he had heart surgery. Can you imagine that? He had on a Superman shirt. And so I'm like, oh, you're the invincible Aiden. And it just brought such a big smile to his face. And, you know, seemingly fearless as he's about to face heart surgery the next day. His parents were there, his grandparents were there. Grandma and Grandpa kept me updated every step of the way from the surgery. And so just being able to lend a listening ear as our families come in, and not only do I do that, but our entire staff does that.
Yeah.
And it just brings that, you know, you're coming into the house and you have somebody genuinely saying, hello, how are you? How are things going for you? And being genuinely interested in the answer and taking the time to listen. And while that's very rewarding, it's also very hard because a lot of the stories, Doug, aren't easy. And sometimes they don't have the outcomes that the families are hoping they have. And so, you know, there are very difficult circumstances that the families face when they are with us. But still, that resilience of the human spirit and how they hold on to that hope and they face every day saying, I'm going to do the best I can to provide that care for the person I love, is just, it's moving and it's incredible and it's awe-inspiring.
It really is. We have our good friend Laura Blackaby with the Family House of Peoria. My name's Doug Pinter with Anytime Fitness Peoria on Daily Energy this morning. If you're tuning in a little late, definitely get back to the front of the show. We have some really heartwarming stories. You know, Laura, one thing you mentioned, the families don't always have the positive outcome. Everyone thinks, maybe not everybody, but maybe the presumption is, they leave, they get to go home. Well, I know from experience, the family that the Front 9 Foundation sponsored last year, their loved one, their little one never made it home. Yeah. And there are those stories, and it's real, people. When we're all in a hurry, if you work downtown and you're driving by the Children's Hospital of Peoria, buzzing down Prospect past Nebraska where the Family House of Peoria is, and you're worried so much about what meeting you have today, or you know, how can you get an advancement within your company? And we're driving by all of these real problems. These are real problems. You know, I get wrapped up, is this meeting going to go well? That's not a problem. That's not a problem at all. The problem is those young ones fighting for their lives at the Children's Hospital of Peoria and other loved ones. And you guys do offer that support so graciously, so graciously. I was at your golf outing Wednesday.
Yes.
What a great day.
Thank you. It was a beautiful day.
It was yeah, it was well run. The food was fantastic. I ate way too much. How'd you guys do based upon your goals versus expectations and what actually happened?
Yeah, well, we definitely expected everyone to come out and have a good time supporting Family House, which I believe they did, especially the Anytime Fitness team, by the way, who took first place in the golf outing with a 61, so I just have to mention that.
Laura, I have the trophy. I'm not joking. I have the trophy on the fireplace mantle. Under the TV, the kids, what's that, Dad? I said, I'm glad you asked.
Yeah.
My wife, she hasn't noticed it yet. It's wonderful, yeah.
So
Thanks for the shout.
It was definitely a successful day for you. But we had more golfers this year than we had last year, so being able to grow our event just helps to demonstrate that more people are starting to understand about Family House and why it's important to support us and our families. We did exceed our revenue goals for this year as well, so we're very excited about that.
Very challenging times in the state of Illinois right now. A lot of movement with Caterpillar, bigwigs, execs rolling out of town. A lot of people were worried about that money rolling out of town, but not for such a great cause such as the Family House. I know Jake Turner, Raymond James. He says I have to pay him $50 every time I say Jake Turner, Raymond James. Hopefully that money will go to the Family House of Peoria, Jake Turner, Raymond James. So I know Jake kind of introduced me to the Family House of Peoria.
Yes,
Jake and I are buddies. When I was building, I wasn't, the place would fall down. But when construction was going on at Anytime Fitness, he came in, introduced himself, became friends, and his wife was working over at the Family House. I took a tour, met a couple families, and instantly the Front 9 Foundation, we took it to the executive board, and it was voted unanimously to support the Family House of Peoria.
I appreciate that.
What a great partnership we've had. We were able to come over and do a cookout. We made macaroni and cheese. My kids went there. They met other children. They ask about these kids every single day, and we keep those families in our prayers. It's amazing, you know, even when people leave the Family House of Peoria, they're still leaving a lasting footprint and impression here in Peoria on the individuals they come across.
Yes, they do. And, you know, we could not do what we do without the support of the Front 9 Foundation and without the support of the community. We work really hard to keep our rates affordable for our families, and so the financial support that we receive helps fill that gap and allows us to continue to operate the house in the way that it needs to be operated. While our staff is phenomenal, and we are staffed 24 hours a day by a paid staff person, the volunteers that come in to give their time to help in the house at the front desk with housekeeping, with maintenance, with keeping our grounds looking
pristine,
lovely, coming in and preparing meals for our families, hosting food drives so we can fill our pantry so our families can have snacks to eat while they are there. Because of the generosity of our community, our families are very well taken care of while they're with us.
For everybody out there, this is my good friend Laura Blackaby with the Family House of Peoria. My name's Doug Pinner. Talking a little bit about what the Family House of Peoria does here for the community and families from all over the world coming into Peoria. I'm sorry, Tim. We got 11. We got 11 minutes left. Good. I still have some more questions here. When we were at your golf outing on Wednesday,
yes,
I've met the board of directors, and there was a gentleman, I believe he serves on the board, that told his story. Is that accurate?
That is accurate. Brian O'Neill. He is the vice president of the Family House Board.
His story is unbelievable about his child and what they went through, what they continue to go through, and how the Family House has been such a key piece in their lives. I thought his story was fantastic. I can't wait to see him today to thank him for sharing that. You could tell how impactful that was on he and his family. This is their child that they love, you know, and to hear a board member that is utilizing services and has gone through a lot of the similar experiences, to where I think Brian might be able to sit at that table and have a discussion with some of those family members and assure them they're in the best hands possible here in Peoria.
Yeah, and you know, it's interesting you say that because he actually had the opportunity to do that. So he and his wife Amy and son Lamont have been to the house more than once to prepare meals for our families. And while they were there, they struck up a conversation with one of our guests who had been with us, I think at that point, about 3 months. And as they were talking, discovered that their son, who was in the hospital, had the same medical complexity that Brian and Amy's son has. And so not only were they able to connect with them on a, you know, common level, they were actually able to share very real experiences about the same condition. And so just the way lives intersect. And so it's, you know, when our volunteers come in to prepare meals, many of them stay and sit with the families and talk with them and exchange stories and exchange hugs. And it's that human contact and it's that compassion that's extended and that's that encouragement. And then there's those times where everything just connects on such a high level. You know that there's something pretty miraculous at work.
It's unbelievable. It gives me goosebumps. Love what you guys do over at the family house. Every time I leave the family house, I'm so much more thankful for everything I have. But you know what? For people that are going through such a trying time, and you might think it could get depressing and it could get, you know, lonely. When I leave, I see more smiles at the family house. I see more hugs going on, more hands on the shoulder. It's okay. It's okay. And the smiles and just the positive vibes when I walk out of there, it's just unbelievable. What you and your staff and the board of directors at the Family House of Peoria do, just bravo to you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Especially, you know, talking about your golf outing, trying times in Illinois, and you guys exceeded your fundraising goals. How challenging is it to raise those funds, to make sure the house, that's a lot of pressure, a lot of people depending on you. How do you do that day in and day out?
You know, somehow we do. So I will tell you that we just hired a new development director, Deanie Harris, who is absolutely, yes, she's phenomenal. She just joined us on the 12th of this month, and so we're really excited to have her on board and to have someone on staff who's focused primarily on helping to generate philanthropic revenue for Family House, because again, it's so important. One of the unique challenges that we face is that we're a Peoria-based not-for-profit organization that doesn't serve the people of Peoria. Because if you live in Peoria and you have a loved one in a Peoria hospital and you're going to go home, you get to go home to your own bed, right? You get to go home to your own shower, to your own living space where you can relax and unwind. Everyone who we serve comes to us from outside of the Peoria area. And so we're kind of like a hidden gem. Yeah. And so I appreciate the opportunity today to talk about Family House and be able to let people know who we are, what we do, especially with our families that are with us long term. We had a family since I've been there who was with us for 273 days while their son was in the hospital. That's a long time, just shy of, just shy of a year. And believe me, when that family was here for 273 days, they became part of our community. Yeah. They were receiving medical services from our community, purchasing gas, shopping in our stores, occasionally dining in our restaurants, visiting our museums, going to the zoo. We have a lot of families, especially if they have other children with them, who take advantage of those things in Peoria. And so they really do become part of our community, even though they live outside of our area.
One other thing I love is how, yes, these people come into our community. It gives Peoria the opportunity to put our best foot forward. And when we came over to do the cookout, I cannot tell you how grateful everybody was. They stopped. We're there because we're trying to provide a little relief from their crazy day.
Right.
And they stopped in their tracks, shook our hands, and said thank you. And it's like, holy smokes, here are these people who have so much going on, and they're so appreciative of everything. It's what I love. That's what I love about the family house. Everyone is so genuine there.
You know, we have, in the summertime, we see an increased number of children that stay in the house because parents are keeping their whole families together. So if they have someone in the hospital, their other children are coming with them so they can stay together as a family. That happens more during the summer than it does in the fall and winter because the kids are out of school. A lot of times during the school year, families are separated while that child is staying with another family member or a friend so they can stay in school and kind of continue with their routine. But with the summer, it's like, all right, we're all together, we're going to stay as a family. And we had a family with us last year whose dad remarked, we had his little boy with them, and he's like, you know, he said, this is our summer vacation. And their son said, yeah, but I'm having a great time. So, you know, little 7-year-old is having a wonderful time. And we were able to help that family and other families do things like go to Peoria Chiefs game while they're here, visit the Peoria Playhouse Children's Museum, visit the Riverfront Museum because of donated tickets. Because people from the community or those organizations themselves give tickets to us to say, please, give these to your families. It's our way of supporting them and giving them an opportunity to have a little bit of relief and have some fun and do something enjoyable with the other children that they might have with them at the house.
Yeah, you know, one of the families the Front Nine Foundation supported, they had 2 other children besides the one in the hospital. And those girls seemed extremely happy, and when I spoke to the family, you know, come home from a stressful day, and to see your other children smiling gives that sense of hope, that drive, that faith, that everything will pan out. My good friend Laura Blackaby with Family House Peoria. My name's Doug Pinner from Anytime Fitness Peoria here on Daily Energy. If you're tuning in late, make sure you get back to the front of the program. If you're a founder of a foundation or part of a board of directors and you want to support someone locally in your community, listen to the stories that are coming out of the Family House. And I would urge you to strongly consider adopting the Family House into your organization, whether you're a business owner or a foundation founder, whatever the case may be. You guys made that transition for the Front Nine Foundation extremely seamless. It was very, very easy, and it's such a great partnership.
Yes, it is.
Laura, we got a great day out here with the Front Nine Foundation golf outing at Coyote Creek in Bartonville, Illinois. We are going to raise a ton of money. We're sold out. We already exceeded our goal. And you know what? I attribute that to the Family House of Peoria, the Children's Hospital of Illinois. Even though times are tough, I always believe people are willing to support, especially when it comes to kids fighting for their lives. They're always willing to support those families. So on behalf of the Front Nine Foundation, I want to thank all my friends and family for coming out today to support the foundation. And Laura, we're going to do a little TV show right after this.
All right,
then we're going to hold a golf outing. Then we're going to entertain about 150 for dinner tonight and share your story and continue to educate people on what the Family House of Peoria does here right in central Illinois. If you want to learn more about the Family House of Peoria, you can find them on Facebook. And what's that website one more time, Laura?
FamilyHousePeoria.org.
That's Laura Blackaby with Family House Peoria. My name's Doug Pinter with Anytime Fitness North Peoria.